Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and we're here today with Derreck Long, and what we're going to talk about is avoiding taxes on your real estate deals. Remember guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and really all service providers 2 to 5x their business. By doing this, we're providing tools and resources to help grow the business you want and live that life that you want to live. Derreck, welcome to our show.
Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate you guys having me. I love being part of those mastermind groups and things like that, and just getting some good education out to everyone. I think that's what's unique about what we can provide nowadays with podcasts and the internet and stuff, is getting the best education out there at a free rate.
Exactly. And be able to gain some exposure for you and also some knowledge base for our audience that maybe, doesn't know about avoiding taxes and whatnot. But before we get into that, right, and I'm super excited to talk about it, but tell our audience a little bit about you, right? How you got into the business, what got you here?
Sure. So actually behind the scenes is I'm a retirement expert. Okay. I teach CPAs and tax attorneys. I host CE class, stuff like that all across the U.S. So they get their credits from me. And what that means is I'm a nerd. Okay, I'm a dork. All right, I read tax.
Self-proclaimed?
Yeah, ask my wife. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But what's funny is because of that, I deal more on the self-directed realm. This could be self-directed IRAs, solo 401ks, QRPs, Rob's plans, something like that. And what happens is if we look at the average American, they have more money sitting in a retirement account than they do in their own personal checking or savings. Because of all the classes I've done, I've actually had the privilege to speak at Congress 8 different times now.
Wow.
On retirement-related issues. So we're at the very forefront of that aspect. So my company is Heritage IRA, and we're really here just to provide education on those topics and make sure people understand, look, you can use those retirement funds to do things like pay for those mastermind programs. Use those retirement funds to buy that rental property, do that fix and flip, invest in that Airbnb, buy one of those multifamily deals, or invest in one of those syndications you're looking at. There's a lot of tax advantages people miss out on. So,
well, before we talk about that, I want to take a step back here to Congress. But before even all that, what got you into lending? Like, how did you know that was your vehicle?
Yeah. So, my dad was a private lender. Right.
Oh, okay.
And when I was 17 or 18 years old, my dad gave me $3,000, but he put it in a Roth IRA for me. Okay. And I was like, when do I get to touch that? He goes, when you're old. And I'm like, that's, I'm 17, I'm 18. I don't really care. I'm graduating high school,
Right.
What my dad was doing is he was a private lender, and he would lend, and like, let's say it was a $100,000 note. He would lend $97,000 and $3,000 came from me. And he didn't have to, but he made me sign all the documents. And then every month I'd get a payment, and the payment was like $30. You're not getting rich off $30. But what was funny is I was over here, and I always had that entrepreneur spirit, right? I tried starting a restaurant and failed miserably, and then like my wife was a real estate agent, and it's like, and my mom was a real estate broker, and it was funny because always kind of been involved in the real estate background,
Right.
But lending for us was that gateway.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And as I got older, long before the grays, right, it was that $30 wasn't $30 a month anymore, right? It was $50 a month. It was $100 a month. It was $150 a month, right?
Yep.
And I wasn't doing anything for it. And it was like, well, maybe that old man knows something I don't know, right?
Yeah, right.
It's funny how suddenly as you get older, your parents seemed a lot smarter than you realized.
Well, back then you're like, you're crazy for doing this. And then you're like, now you're a genius for doing that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it was fun. That's kind of how we got started. Since then, I mean, my wife and I, we own rentals, we own acres, we own syndications, we own mineral rights and oil and gas investments. And then, like I said, obviously we're the owners of a self-directed retirement institution, right? So, and also the owners of a software company. So,
oh, nice. Okay. What kind of software?
Oh, we deal actually in all the hardware and software for self-directed IRA institutions.
Sweet.
Right. So it's funny. That's why I was like, I love all the companies. Everyone's my client.
Yeah. Well, and I love the fact that you had that, you got assimilated at an early age, right? To all the knowledge. You kind of knew your path. So when you guys started the business, I mean, what were some of the bigger challenges you had in the lending space?
Well, from lending wise,
or not the lending space, but in the IRA space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter either way, but like on a lending side, we never really had a lot of challenges. I'd say we actually always had more challenges on the, single family homes, if we're talking about just real estate in general.
Okay.
But this is because suddenly it puts a lot of stuff on my plate, such as vetting a contractor. Okay. Right. When I do a loan, I need a deed of trust and a note, a mortgage and a note. That's what I need. And I'm good to go. When you're buying a house, you're dealing with the title company, the agent, right? The bank of its debt leverage. You need a HUD statement, settlement statement. Here's the contract warranty deed. Like, you're like, oh my God.
Yep. A lot more.
And if you don't have a good mentor, if you don't have a good person to turn to, you can make mistakes easily and you can lose a lot of money quickly, And what's funny is I think most people, they try to save money and they don't want to invest in education. They don't want to invest in that mentor. They don't want to invest in those aspects. And that holds true not just in real estate, but even when we're starting our own retirement institution, right? Is there's things that you're going to need help with and you don't know what it is, right? The smartest people in the world, the most richest people in the world, the guys that are multi-billionaires still have people they turn to for certain aspects.
Board of advisors. Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. And so when we were starting our institution, we made sure that we had those people to turn to, whether they were attorneys, other business owners, even a billionaire that we have that works with us, and it's like, that's nice to know. So I think that's the thing is one of the struggles is don't try to do it yourself. If you do, you're going to have a higher percentage of failure, right? You have a higher percentage of success if you try to go a little bit slower and find good people to work with, partner with, get education from.
How did you find your mentor?
Was a few different ways. So one of them actually was just a straight up mastermind, right?
Okay.
Is I paid a lot of money and joined a mastermind, right? And that actually introduced me to someone else by the name of Steve Veal. And Steve, he had this small investment group, and it was like $25 a month, right? Cancel anytime, right? But what was nice is all of us were able to get together, and it was more of a, hey, I got a house under contract, but I need help vetting, or I need to find a good appraiser, I need a good contractor, a plumber, or right? Hey, I'm trying to do this wholesale, I need to get rid of it, and it was this little group that we were able to kind of niche that was very small. We're talking 50 people or less.
What a resource pool.
Exactly. And there's those groups out there, and Steve was a big help for me early on. You know,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
now that we have an institution and we have, you know, billions of assets and all this other stuff like that, you know, it's different, but I still turn to other people. I actually had a phone call this morning with a mentor of mine named Wendy Sweet. She's out of North and South Carolina, runs a company called Carolina Capital. And I called her and I said, hey, look, I think we're going to run into some of these issues. What do you think you would do? And we talked out, and I already had 2 or 3 solutions in mind, but she gave me that extra nugget that I, you know, was like, you know what? I didn't even consider that. And it was almost like a way to combine a couple things. And so it's always good to just, you know, understand that you don't know it all.
Well, and I hear this theme a lot when I talk to people. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Yeah.
And it's having that board of advisors, those trusted folks that, yes, you might know majority of what to do, but that one little thing that can notch your business up another rank. I mean, it's huge. And that's by having that that's by having that network. So what does your business look like now? Like, tell us kind of all what you're doing.
Yeah. So, my clients, I want you to understand is I am a retirement expert, right? I'm the president and co-founder of Heritage.
Tell me what
IRA.
a retirement expert is.
I read IRS Revenue Code 408, little a, big A, 590B. Like, I'm a dork, man. All right. But no. So what it means, okay? And here's where I get excited, right? Because maybe this is my passion, and you never even realize what your passion is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say a retirement account, you might think of your 401k. You might think of a IRA. You might think of a pension plan or a 403b or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to use the term retirement account. Every time I give a speech, I ask people, what is your retirement account invested in? And I get I don't know, right? Stocks, bonds, CDs, mutual funds, large caps, right? But they don't really, if you pull it apart, well, what stocks do you own? They have no idea. What does your mutual fund pay you? I have no idea. And if we look at it, it has these huge fluctuations. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Right now we're seeing the stocks are drastically down, right? You wait 10 months, it'll go up again, right? And then it'll go back down and things. So what happens as my clients get older, though, they can't handle that. Can you imagine being 70 years old and suddenly you lose 50% of your 401k? They're like, oh, just wait 5 years. You're like, oh, I'm going to be dead.
Time.
You know? So that doesn't work. So what's a safer alternative? Every one of those retirement accounts I just mentioned, you can use to invest in real estate. And people don't realize that. Now, if you're looking to be a real estate investor, you might actually have more money than you think. Right? If we think of the average individual, do they have more money in a savings account or more money in that 401k they've been saving away for 10, 15, 20 years, bouncing from job to job? They have more money typically in that 401k.
Right, yeah.
Well, why don't we use that then to buy that rental? Right? Why don't you use that money to invest in that syndication? Well, they told me I'd have to pay taxes and penalties. No, that's not the truth. Your retirement account can do those exact same investments you as an individual are already considering and looking at. I don't care what the investment is. If you're looking to buy a house, fix it up, and flip it, your 401k, your IRA can go out and buy that same house, fix it up, and flip it. And you know what? When you do that, you avoid the taxation. Think about you for a minute, right, John?
Mm-hmm.
You do a wholesale deal, right? You wholesale a property, you make $10,000. You don't really get to keep 10 grand, do you?
No.
Uncle Sam comes in and he pulls out his little portion called taxation, right? And you might at the end of the day only keep $7,000 or $8,000. Well, if we did that same wholesale inside your Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, a 401k, you get to keep the full 10 grand.
Why is that?
Right? That's huge.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by a retirement expert, is I
Right.
have to teach my clients how to use their retirement account to do that. I have to teach the CPAs. I have to teach those tax attorneys, because what happens is,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Charles Schwab said, no, you can't do that. No, Charles Schwab doesn't allow you to do it. Fidelity doesn't allow you. It's not that you can't. You can't under their umbrella. You just have to.
Why are there some companies that won't let you do that?
Because they make more money if they don't let you do it.
Yeah.
Right? When you buy a mutual fund and that mutual fund is paying 4%, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 and 5%, which is pretty average for a mutual fund. You know what it's actually paying? Closer to 8 and 10%. Where's that other 4 to 5% going? To
Right.
Fidelity, to Vanguard,
Yeah,
to Charles.
in their pocket. Yeah.
Don't be mad at them for that. They're doing all the work. Right? They're the one, they found the investments. They said, oh, just give us the money. We'll put it in a mutual fund and we'll pay you 4% a year. You do nothing.
Right.
Right? As Ron used to say, set it and forget it.
Forget it. Yeah, Ronco. Man, it's been a while since I've heard that.
Right? God, we're dating ourselves. There's no longer room commercial.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, most people don't know about that, the ability to do that. How does someone even find out about it? Or what extra steps are needed to be able to use that to invest?
That's the cool thing, is there's actually no extra steps. All right. You just need an institution, a retirement company that allows you to do it. So if you go to heritageira.com, right, little plug for ourselves, right, boom, you'll see we have educational videos. We do webinars. We do deal pitching events. We can come in and you can find your next business partner. We even have the ability to teach people how to become a sophisticated investor, right, at no cost. Why?
Okay.
I want you to use your IRA. I want you to use your 401k, and I want you to buy an investment that you understand. And the examples I'm giving of you, let's just say you bought a rental property using that 401k, and the rents come in. Out of all the profit you make on that property, 0 of it goes to us. 0. Whereas when we bought that mutual fund at Vanguard, remember, it was split right down the middle. And so because of that, right, look, use your retirement account. And if you're listening to this podcast, John is putting on this podcast for you guys to listen to learn about becoming a better investor. Then take the right steps, use the retirement accounts. And John, I'm sure you have a ton of guests that talk about all sorts of different topics. I don't care which topic it is. Remember, you can use those funds for that topic.
Well, but I think this is extra important because, it's something that people don't know about, don't know that they have that ability to do. And it's just kind of like how creative finance came into the real estate world. A lot of people didn't know that they could sell their property that way, but you can. It's been there. You just got to know about it. So what are some of the mistakes that if people are maybe making when trying to use their 401k or any other retirement stuff for investing?
Sure. The first thing is I'm going to label the difference between a self-directed IRA or a self-directed 401k and a non-self-directed account, right? And a lot of people have probably heard that term, a self-directed IRA. Have you heard that term before, John?
Of course.
That's fake. There is no such thing as a self-directed IRA.
Oh, you set me up for that one right there. That was good.
No. So here's the thing, though. That's the industry standard, right? And that's what people will say. So right now, Google, well, I want a self-directed IRA. Fidelity's at the top of the list. But they don't offer a IRA that lets you buy real estate. So I thought it was a self-directed account. That is just a marketing term. So the first mistake I see people make is they assume that, hey, if I set up a self-directed IRA, I can buy real estate. No. That is all fake. What it is you have to have a retirement company that lets you take your retirement account and buy the assets you want. as an example, right? Heritage IRA, we let you do what I'm going to label as alternative assets. This is typically, most of our clients are real estate investors, oil and gas investors, or small business investors. There's a company called Crypto IRA. Guess what they let you use your retirement account for?
Buy crypto.
Cryptocurrency, right? If you go to Equity Trust, they let you use your retirement account and they focus primarily on single family home real estate investing. You go to Directed IRA. Directed IRA goes through the process of setting up an extra LLC, typically for business purposes for your IRA. You go to Fidelity. Fidelity lets you use your IRA to buy stocks, bonds, CDs, and mutual funds. Which one's better or worse? Neither. So the mistake that I see people make is they're Googling, well, I want a self-directed IRA. And it's like, hey, you got to be specific. What are you looking for? And there's a lot of great, notice, I'm not even scared of the competition out there because all of those companies are great companies. They really are. Directed IRAs run by Matt Swanson. Equity Trust run by John Bowens. They provide great services to their clients that allow them to do this. I'm Derreck Long of Heritage IRA. We do too.
Yeah.
But it's, what are you looking for?
Yeah. It's what's your lane, right? Where are you trying to achieve? What's your goal? Yeah. All those type of things. What other mistakes are they making?
Bad advice. Okay. And what I mean by that is they take advice from a financial advisor. And I absolutely despise financial advisors, but let me explain why. Okay.
Please.
A financial advisor holds a Series 6 or Series 7 license. Okay. This means that they are authorized to sell you an investment. And when they sell you an investment, they get a commission or a bonus, because some institutes say, well, we can't call it a commission, so we're going to call it a bonus. All right. It's the same damn thing. All right. It really is. But now they sell you that annuity. They sell you that CD, that mutual fund. Did you ever ask them what is their bonus on it?
Nobody does.
Most of the time not. Because having one of those licenses, right? I have what's called a CISP license, right? If I chose to sell that, right? Let's just go with an annuity, $100,000 annuity that I'm going to lock up your money for 5 years. I get a 10% commission on that. Huh. 10 grand right in my pocket. Do you think I have an incentive to sell you and advise you to put your money with me? Do you think I'm going to advise you to put your money with anyone else? No.
Right.
And that's a problem. And what sucks is, who gets taken advantage of that with that? The older folks.
The older folk, I'm about to say the elderly population.
Is the younger generation, they're skeptical of everybody. They assume you're a car salesman. I don't care who you are, right? They see their phone ring and they don't answer it. They're like, they can text me. If it's real.
Yeah, if they really need to get a hold of me, they'll text me or call back.
Right. Now, my grandma, on the other hand, she says she's skeptical, but then she believes every ad that comes across the screen. She believes every Facebook article. She believes every newsletter she says, right? It's like, come on, Yeah. And so that's what typically happens. So the second mistake I'd really say is understand who you're talking to. I think financial advisors serve a big purpose. Some people need that because I love to use my mom. I love my mom. I really do. But she should never invest her own money. Okay.
Why is that?
She's not cut out to be a real estate investor because she's going to lend her money on a fifth lien position to some guy who's going to take the money and run away to Mexico, right? Because he promised her 20%.
Well, a different generation is more trusting. They were more handshakes back in the day.
Yeah. My mom, I would argue, should have a financial advisor that says, hey, we're going to take your money, we're going to put it in that mutual fund. My dad, my dad's going to go, I want a first lien position. I'm going to charge you 2 points, 12% interest, right? And I'm going to walk down, I'm going to see the property,
Right.
And my dad will easily make 10, 12, 14% on every time he turns his money. But he's being a little bit more hands-on. And why my dad had a great coach early on named Shanoa Grove, right? That kind of helped him with a lot of those things. And so what's funny, you can't put a blanket over everybody.
Right.
And just look at my family alone. I'm saying my mom, my dad are drastically different people. So.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's say someone is listening to this and then they've been thinking about wanting to use their 401 or any whatever retirement accounts they have. What are the steps? Like, what is the best advice you can give someone? Maybe the first thing to do.
So the first thing is always to schedule a consultation. Okay. This is because, and the minute you schedule that consultation, whether it's with someone with Heritage IRA or any other institution out there, you know who your consultation's with? A salesman. Okay? It is. And it's funny because I always use those type of terms and things. And I don't want you to think that is bad. You go to a car dealership, you know the guy in the car dealership selling you a car, you know he gets a commission. You don't care, right? But just go in with that salesman hat on just for a minute, okay? And realize that when they're talking through this, make sure they're going through and they're figuring out what is your best needs. Because there's so many different retirement accounts out there. In total, there's 8, right, that we see people establish. This could be a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, a solo 401k, a Rob's account, a SEP, a simple, you know, a HSA, an ESA, and I can keep going, you know? Yeah. And it's make sure they're not selling you on something that is giant. And I see this happen a lot. I see that you schedule a consultation with someone, they go, hey, we're going to set you up a checkbook control IRA-owned LLC. What we need to do, step 1, we're going to set you up an IRA. Step 2, we need to get you a C corporation. That C corporation will create an LLC. That LLC then will be owned by the IRA. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I'm trying to buy I'm doing a $25,000 second lien note. I'm like, you just spent $5,000 on all this other crap you don't need.
Right.
So make sure they're looking out for you. Schedule a consultation. Maybe schedule 1, 2, or 3 consultations with multiple custodians. Find someone that you fit well with. I'd love to say that Heritage IRA is the best person group for everybody, but we're not. You know, we charge $300 a year for each one of our clients. You know, so if I'm charging you that fee, I tell people get your money's worth. You know, and ask your questions. Make sure that if you're sitting down with one of our retirement specialists, that not only are they answering your questions, okay, but they're open and honest about everything around them. Not just that, but the fees, what they make, right? You know, all those things. And what's funny is I know there's not another institution that does that. So.
Any other important questions you think someone should ask if they're doing this consultation?
Yeah. You know, honestly, what's in it for them? Okay. Why should they work with insert institution over another institution? I think that is one of those perfect closing questions that you should always ask. Because I can tell you right now, if I Google real estate mastermind, John, how many of them are out there? A million, right?
A lot.
Now, some of them are really good. Some of them are really bad. You know, some of them are at capacity. And what I mean by that is like, hey, look, not that they're trying to be a bad or they want to help you out more, but look, they have too many people. So it's like, I think it's good that we actually have multiple masterminds. You want to be looking for a mastermind that you can work well with. Yeah. Right. And one of those things is if I'm talking to a mastermind coach and I'm like, well, hey, what's in it for you? If I'm talking to my financial advisor and I go, what's in it for you? If I talk to that car sale, what's in it for you? If I talk to my retirement, what's in it for you? Right. And
got it.
They beat around the bush. That tells you a lot about their character.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And if I go, well, hey, I want you to set up an IRA, I'm going to charge you $300 a year. And now that $300 a year is going to help me figure out what is the best solution to do everything else. You know, that sounds pretty realistic. You know, here's the list of my fees. That's what's in it for me.
Got it. Now I'm going to ask you this question. Why should they go to Heritage?
Education. Okay. We are the number one educators in the U.S. when it comes to retirement accounts. Right? That's awesome. For sure. So you will see that every one of our retirement specialists, they're trained to learn and memorize 100% of the retirement revenue code and tax code. Every single one of them. They have to get what is called a CISP license, and that license is issued by a guy named John Paul Ruiz. who helps write the Department of Labor Revenue Code under the ERISA Act. Okay? So that's why you should come to us, is our staff has the most knowledge and the best education possible than anyone out there in the industry.
And that's important. I mean, that's important, especially when folks don't know. You want to make sure that you're educated to make the right decisions. And Derreck, you dropped a lot of killer nuggets here. If folks want to continue and talk with you more, maybe talk with Heritage about using their retirement accounts, how do they get a hold of you?
We have a non-automated line. Okay. So it's heritageira.com, right? And you'll see our phone numbers right up there at the top and right at the bottom. If you call it, that is a non-automated line. Someone picks up the damn phone.
Right? Rare in this day and age.
It is, right? You can't even call the grocery store if I have to go through an automated system.
I know, it's crazy.
We're going to stand by that, and we always have been, and we always will stand by that. Right? That's one of those things.
Awesome.
I'm not saying it's the right person that picked up the phone. Okay. But they go, hey, what do you need? Let me see who's available, and I'll get you to the right person. And that's what people like. So.
Of course. Well, yeah, we want to talk to a human nowadays. And I'll put all your links and your contact in the show notes. So folks, you'll be able to click on that and get a hold of them. Derreck, I appreciate your time, man. This was tremendously, informing of, stuff I didn't know for sure. And I'm sure a lot of our people, have learned a few things. And I hope everybody enjoyed this as much as I did. So Derreck, once again, thank you very much. And everybody, I'll see you on the next podcast.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.